What is shakin', Internet? This is Salts, bringing you another dash of Salts where you guys ask me, Salts, questions about my life, about gaming, and about things in general. First off, little bit of bookkeeping as always. Basically, if you want to ask a question for this show, please send an email to a.dash.of.salts@gmail.com. That's a-of-salts with periods in between at gmail.com, or you can leave a question in the comments below. If you are entered to win the contest, basically I take 5 questions every week, I answer those questions, and at the end of the month, I give away a $20 gift card. I would like to apologize to my regular viewers because I did not have a Dash of Salts last week. I was a little bit sick, I had a lot of other stuff going on, and on top of everything, I finally got my new hard drive installed on my computer, so I'm finally working off of my solid state drive, which I am extremely excited about. That being said, like I said, basically send those questions in. Please send those questions in. We have one more week, so if you want to enter to win the February giveaway, I believe we have one more week, maybe 2. I can't remember exactly how many we have done so far. But basically, send those questions in. I will pick 5 or so for next week on the Mondays. I'm trying to do it on Mondays. And I will answer those questions, and we will have fun. And you will get entered to win a $20 gift card of your choosing, be it LOL RP, Battle.net card, Steam $20 card, anything that I can get my hands on in your region. That being said, let's move on and actually just jump into these questions here. So the first question this week comes from Entropy. Entropy asks, do you play any sports? If so, which ones? So, first off, I would say that I'm pretty much allergic to sports. But in general, I actually don't do too many physical activities nowadays, but I did used to do a lot of swimming. I was actually a really big swimmer in middle school and high school. I did a lot of swimming, I did it competitively, and I was pretty dang good at it, if I do say so myself. I did get to my state competition, so, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing. I definitely think swimming is my favorite sport to do right now. It's just a general sport. It's a pretty good weight loser, or at least weight stabilizer, if I can think of it like that. But in general, I don't do too much. I am going to try and get into a couple different things. My wife is really into running. I don't think I'm ever going to be a runner like her, but but you know, all that kind of stuff. Probably get into sports with my kids, get into sports too, maybe soccer or other things like that. Depends on how athletic they are, but I have no idea how athletic they will be. So as far as sports go, yeah, really swimming is my only sport that I do for any real recreation or just in general. That's the one I do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving right along to the next question. The next question comes from Timmy lol. Maybe a couple extra lols in there. I have no idea. I just kept going lol when I was typing it in. So Timmy lol asks, what is your top 5 solo queue champs you recommend for League of Legends? So, top 5 champions I recommend for League of Legends. For newer players, or for people who are not, familiar with ranked, I would generally just pick champs that are easy to play. If you don't have a favorite champion, which if you have a favorite champion, you really should just get really good with them. Even champions like Urgot can be played in ranked to great success, as long as you know exactly what you're doing as Urgot and you know exactly what you're up against in the lane. I've seen Urgot top do very well, even in ranked games, as long as you know all the matchups, as long as you know what you're up against. If you know what you're going against, like a Cho'Gath or something like that, or something that's really going to be strong against you, or something like that, basically, that's what I would recommend. If you have a champion that you know and you play really well, that's what you should play in ranked. I strongly recommend that. Problem is, in ranked, you're not allowed to choose a role before going into the game. So basically, you will always get to be placed somewhere, and then you have to hopefully get the role that you pick. If you don't, you need to be prepared to play any role. In that case, I would suggest very simple champions. So since there's 5 roles in League of Legends, I'm going to pick 5 champions that I think are relatively okay and relatively strong, 1 for each role, and then you can just go ahead and play from there. So, first and foremost, I'm going to stop at the top. The top champion. If you have to play top, you don't have anything else, and you want to play something, I highly recommend Cho'Gath. I think Cho'Gath is a very strong pick all by himself. I think that he has some hard counters, but they don't play very heavily nowadays in the meta. So if you're playing top, play Cho'Gath. He's also pretty good sustain, pretty good late game, pretty good just tank in general. I think he's a very strong pick, and I would play Cho'Gath if I had nothing else to play and I had to play top. There you go. So, jungle, I would definitely pick Nunu. Nunu's one of the safest junglers. He has a very easy clear with that consume. He doesn't get super low. His ganks are pretty solid. and he's actually just very, very simple to jungle with. I think that if you had to jungle and you didn't have any other champion, I think Nuno would be very, very strong. Mid lane. In mid lane, if you also what's nice about Cho'Gath and Nuno is that they're relatively cheap. Mid lane's a little bit harder. I have seen some Annies, but I don't think I would pick an Annie. If I had IP was not an object kind of thing, I would suggest an easy mid lane champion is Xerath. Xerath is actually very safe. He gets very long range. He's a little mana hungry, but you can kind of get around that. Even his worst champions are like LeBlanc that can kind of assassinate him, but you can still just play really safe and play back and just farm. So you can still get quite a bit done, even if you're just playing that. So if you're playing mid, didn't have any other champion, I would select Xerath. There you go. For AD carry, if you had no other champions, all AD carries are kind of similar. I mean, they all have a lot of different things right now. I think one of the easier champions to play, just in general, is either... This one's kind of a toss-up. I would say Jinx, personally, because I think Jinx is very, very good. She's very good late game as well, and she's really easy to last hit, especially with that when she gets her Q up, because she gets, like, the attack speed bonus automatically. So with that high attack speed, it's really easy to last hit with her. She can still do quite a bit of damage. She gets longer range with Q. She just has a lot going on for her. The other one that I was thinking for AD carry would be Graves. I think Graves is a very solid AD carry, and he's very simple to play. He's not too crazy hard to play or anything like that. All you do is last hit with him. He's a little bit shorter range. I kind of like Jinx because she's a little bit safer, but she doesn't have the escapes. You can have the flame chompers to get away and do all that kind of fun stuff, but in general, I would say either Graves or Jinx kind of toss up if you're AD carry. Finally, on support, there's a lot of different supports. I mean, there are tons of supports out there. I would pick the one that has the least amount of skill shots. Otherwise, I would pick like Thresh or Leona. Like both of them, I think are really, really strong picks. But I also think that you have to be able to hit things with them. So in general, you might not be able to do that. I would say if I was picking a support and I had no other option and I didn't know what I was going to play, I would probably play Sona. Sona's very strong just in general. She's very, very simple to play. She gives auras even if you can't hit stuff, which she really only has an ult. That's a skill shot. Everything else is just like spam your buttons. There you go. Don't run out of mana. And if you do, just pop some potions. So I would say Sona is generally very strong. Even with all the nerfs she's had a lot of nerfs. I still think that she's okay in lane. Like she might... And she can still outrange things like Caitlyn. Like her Q still does damage to, still can be harassing on a Caitlyn, which has the highest range in the game at level 1. So either way, I would say those are my top 5 or 6 League of Legends champions, one for each role. Take them or leave them as you pick. That's a good question. So moving right along to the next question. The next question comes from David Pagiela. David Pagiela asks, are you playing Hearthstone? If yes, what's your favorite card? So I actually did play quite a bit of Hearthstone. I picked it up again when Goblins versus Gnomes came out. I tried that out. I think the game is just a little bit random to me. It feels like when I am winning, I don't deserve to win. Like I'm winning because of luck. I'm winning because of randomness in the game. And when I'm losing, it feels like it's the same. It feels like there's either nothing I can do, or even when I do good plays and stuff like that, I still get beaten by randomness. And I have had some really, really bad losing streaks in Hearthstone. Like, I've played 15 games in a row and not won a single one of them. And I'm like, I'm just bad at this game. I honestly think I'm just bad at Hearthstone. I'm not very good at building decks. I feel like I've gotten worse as the game's progressed, even though I learned more about the cards and things. So I kind of took a break. Like I said, I went back when Goblins versus Gnomes came out. I like it. It's fun, but it's just not for me. I have not reinstalled it since I got my new hard drive example. I don't think I'll be playing Hearthstone anytime in the near future. That being said, my favorite card in all of Hearthstone is kind of a dumb one. I mean, it's a very strong card. It's a card that really gets picked up every time if you see it in Arena or something like that. But it's Ragnaros. And there's a reason behind that. So Ragnaros is a legendary card, 8/8, and he can attack, but he does 8 damage to a random opponent or random enemy at the end of your turn. I feel like the only reason I like Ragnaros and the only reason he's my favorite card is because, number one, he's really strong. Number two, he's still really strong even after all the additional cards from Goblins versus Gnomes. And number three, he's the only reason I've ever gone very, very far in Arena. I always fail miserably in Arena, and miserably as in I'm lucky to get 3 wins. 3 wins, 3 losses is a good record for me. But Ragnaros, the one time I got Ragnaros in all of my Arena runs, I think I got 8 wins, and that was back when you could only get 9 wins total. And that was as close as I've ever gone to having a great Arena run. So Ragnaros is my card, my go-to favorite card in Hearthstone. There you go. The next question comes from Cameron Odell. Cameron Odell asks, how many salts are there? So this is kind of an interesting question. There's a ton of salts if you think of it from a culinary point of view. I think there's all kinds of different salts. The only ones that I can really mention are like the normal salt that you put on stuff and garlic salt, which are my two favorites. There's probably lots of other kind of salts out there, but I have no idea. I mean, there's road salt, but I don't know if that's the same thing as cooking salt. But if this is directed at me or my family, I have 2 children and a wife. So if you're talking about that, then there's 4 salts. if it's a salts family. My wife's giving me weird looks. Either way, so yeah, that's a quick answer to your quick question. Moving right along to the next question comes from Andrew. Andrew, hey again, Andrew. Andrew asks, what is your favorite tanking class besides Druid? So I have played quite a bit on all of the tanking classes. I don't have them all at level 100 or anything like that, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions here. But I would say that my favorite tanking class outside of Druid, which I think that Druid is still my favorite class by far, I think it's very simple, it's very easy, and I love the playstyle of just mashing buttons all the time and that kind of stuff. I think the second favorite tank that I have is probably my Warrior. I love playing the Warrior. I think that there's a lot of mobility with the Warrior. I think that it's very tanky and it can be very, very strong. And I just in general, I love my Warrior. My Warrior's my definitely favorite second tank. I would like the DK, but I'm just I don't do the macros. I don't get too far into the macro game where I'm got one button to do everything. And I feel like the DK by itself is too complicated. There's too many things going on or too many things that I have to keep track of the whole time while I'm playing my DK. Whereas Warrior, it's more like, okay, is it a shiny button? Press it. I like it. That's what I want. So yeah, Warrior is definitely my second favorite tanking class in the game. I will take one extra question. So this is the final question of the week, and that comes from Omega Wow. Omega Wow asks, what is your most memorable achievement in WoW? So this one's kind of a hard one because I have had a lot of achievements in WoW, and I tried to think of, okay, what is the achievement that stands out to me? And I've had quite a few of achievements. I was thinking about my different raid bosses I've killed, when I killed Heroic Deathwing before, while that was still relevant. I loved that. That was one of my bigger ones. But the one thing that comes out to me, which I don't know if it's a big achievement anymore because I honestly haven't looked at it since I've gotten it many, many years ago at this point. But that is what a long, strange trip it has been. This is a 1-year achievement. Basically, you have to do every single event or every single festival, every single holiday event. You have to get several achievements from every single holiday event for an entire year. So basically, you have to do Easter, you have to do Christmas, you have to do other things. I can't remember all you have to do, but you have to do one of every single event throughout the entire year. Now, it took me more than 1 year to do this because I, skipped an event or did something like that. But I did finally get What a Long Strange Trip It Has Been several years ago on my then main Paladin. I had a Paladin at the time, and that was my main. But I remember getting that. It was so cool because I finally got the giant Violet Proto Drake, and it was just fantastic. And that bumped me up to the super duper speed. So I did finally get that super duper speed before you could just buy it anyway. And I was just like, oh, that is so awesome. And that was the most memorable achievement to me because when I got that, it was like a year and a half to 2 years in the making because I missed an event somewhere along the road. But I was just like, oh, finally got it. I don't even use the Violet Proto Drake. I never mount up on the stupid thing anymore. But when I had it, it was fantastic. It's just too big now. Having that giant Violet Proto Drake is just unwieldy nowadays. But yes, that is my most memorable achievement in WoW to date. Guaranteed. Plain and simple. So there you go. There you have it. That is all the achievements that I have. That's all the questions I have this week. I will do, yet again, the spiel. Basically, if you want to enter this contest, if you want to win a $20 gift card by the end of February, I want you to send a comment to a-dash.of.salts@gmail.com. That's a-of-salts with periods in between @gmail.com. Or you can leave a question in the comments below. I will take at least 5 questions for next week, and hopefully you got it there. I do apologize again for not having one last week. I've already explained why, so all that good stuff. Please leave those questions, get those questions going, and let's go ahead and wrap it up here. So please like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and, as always, you keep it salty, Internet.